Hey, looks like we are live on the air for another Tasty Tuesday Booze Day happy hour. I am Eric the Malt Muser. What is up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Raise a glass to you all. We got a good happy hour set up today and a good show later tonight with Telex. So let's get started. First, let's see who's in the door. We got some folks chatting already. Always fun to see when we come in on a Tuesday. Lost Cause, first one in the door today, saying, what's up? Mutinous malted monstrosity. Is that a malt mention? I think I know a guy with a pretty big channel who likes to do those. Good to see you, Lost Cause. There's French, right on his tail. Time for some Tuesday drinks. Getting started with a whiskey from Scotland called Springbank 10. Nice pour, my friend. That's a good one to start with. And Lost Cause is here from New Orleans. Okay, cool. Springbank's one of his favorite distilleries. Looks like French is in, Duluth, Minnesota. Right on. As a Wisconsinite by birth, I do know a little bit about Minnesota and up in that area, so very cool. Daniel's in the house. What are you guys drinking tonight? All the good stuff, my friend. All the good stuff. How about you? Lost Cause has got a good one in the glass already. Single Cask Nation MGP 12 Light Whiskey. Ooh, I can't say I've heard of that one. Would love to hear some details on that, saying it's amazing stuff. Good. Daniel's warming up with some Quinta Rubin. For some reason, it tastes soapy. Ooh, is that the 12-year or the 14? I don't recall either of them tasting necessarily soapy, but be curious which one you got there. Oh, Lost Causes. That MGP is rye IPA cask. Nice. Good deal. Yeah, I have not had a single Cask Nation yet, but Lost Cause is saying this one's good. 94 out of 10. Sweet. Sounds good. We got some other folks in. Andrew Page, what is up, my friend? Getting harder to find Springbank 10. Yeah, same here. Well, it's at least getting pricier around here. No doubt about that. Definitely getting pricier. Whiskey Straight Al's in the house. Cheers to you, my friend. How are you tonight? Yeah, I gave us a malt mark tonight. Great stuff, man. Great stuff. Awesome to have everybody here. Happy Tuesday to everyone. As I said, I'm warming up a little bit with some Four Roses barrel strength single barrel. Not exactly a warm up, but let me set the table for what is coming up tonight. So tonight I'm going to get into a sample of Springbank 21, which was sent over from Whiskey Pilgrim last week. He had sent a couple samples. I didn't get a chance to try it, but I have just been waiting all week to try this one. Super excited about that. Also, we're going to take a first dip into the Peated Infinity bottle. Y'all had recommended I start one of these. I'll give you an update on what's in it, and we're going to give it a first taste. Looking forward to that. Of course, Mr. Cloudy coming later in the hour. And then we'll be heading over to Telex as usual, just a little bit after 9 p.m. tonight. We are going to do a tasting of the Balvenie. This is single barrel, first fill, 12 years old, non-chill filtered, 47.8%. He has never had this one before, so this should be a real fun tasting to do. I personally quite like this one and haven't had it in a long time, so I'm excited to have another sip with him tonight. So we got a good show set up. Let's get into it. No reason to waste any time. I'm going to have a little bit more of this bourbon, which, by the way, is fantastic. It's a Four Roses. It's the OESK, for those who keep score on the mashes of the different barrel strength releases they do. This one's about 9.5 years old. Fantastic bourbon. Really enjoying it. Let me catch back up. Daniel, 14-year-old Quinta Rubin. Still a little soapy. Interesting. Is it neck pour, or have you had it open for a while? I remember enjoying that one okay. I really like the 12 as well. I'm not a huge port guy. At least I don't think I am. But the more that I've had, starting to build the palate for that. I did get to try that Glen Scotia tawny port, which is like an older age port. I think those are like all ruby ports, if I'm not mistaken. Good stuff, though. Give it a little time. Maybe you'll enjoy it. Have you had a port finished whiskey before? I got two Glen Scotias side by side tonight. 15 and the 18. Oh, man. Well, you know, I am a huge fan of the 15. Have not tried the 18, although I know the 18 just has a oh boy, Oloroso finish, 3 years. Might be wrong on that. Maybe it's PX. I actually don't quite remember. But I can't imagine it'll disappoint. And that 15 is just freaking stellar. You got some good pours, Andrew, man. How's your vacation and going up in Maine? You still up there or are you back home? Enjoy those drinks, my friend. Brand new bottle. I've never experimented with the QR, says Daniel. Okay. Yeah, might want to give it a little time. If you've had port stuff before, I tend to notice that one, it's very kind of cloying, almost like, and not in a bad way, but that kind of cough syrup, cherry, kind of cloying, sticky tartness. A bit of that, but it's got some good complexity too. I don't know. Wasn't one of my favorite pours ever, but I definitely enjoyed it enough to recommend it. And I may even get another bottle of that at some point in time. I'm thinking about picking up Balvenie single barrel. Seems a good price point. Yeah, this one goes, I think, in that, I don't know, $80 range. Which, I mean, come on, right? 12-year-old, it's single cask or whatever. They call it single barrel, which is sort of interesting. You don't really ever see the Scotch whiskeys called single barrel. A lot of them are just, they say single cask, but who knows? In the meantime, I think I need to have a little bit more of this bourbon, y'all. This one is real good. I'm curious if anybody hunts these down. I have a couple of them. You usually find these. They're basically they're single barrel, 4 roses, but they're also at barrel strength. And they have 10 different mash bills that they use for them. As I said, this one's the OESK, so it's the low rye, but it is a spicy yeast strain. That's really where the variation comes in on these. You either get the low rye or high rye mash bill, and then they have 5 different yeast strains that they use. All of them do have some different flavor. I've had probably about 5 or 6 of them in total. Never found the OESO or the OVSOs for that matter. Would love to get my hands on those at some point, but really enjoying this. I opened this up on Sunday where I did a little live show with Bourbon Bounty. It was a lot of fun. If you guys haven't yet to see that, worth checking out. We tasted some Elijah Craig bourbon. We talked about Booker's, a couple other ones. We had a little bit of Four Roses. All pretty tasty stuff. So fun times. But my bourbon kick is kind of coming to an end. I've been on the bourbon thing for I don't know, man, about a month and a half. I've just been feeling the bourbon, but Scotch is starting to come back in my palate. Starting to crave the Scotch again. So really excited. Probably about 5-10 minutes. I'm going to check out this Springbank 21-year-old, which I have a small sample of sitting here in this glass. Got a cap on it. We'll let it rest there for a little bit longer. Excited to check it out, though. Whiskey Straight Owl, Cavalan Concertmaster Port. Nice. I found it exceedingly sweet. Took a long time to get through. Okay. I haven't had any of the Concertmaster stuff, but I do kind of feel the same way about the port. It's sweet, but it's like as I mentioned, it's kind of this cloying, very sticky sweet, if that makes any sense. Kind of just like dark cherry, maybe even like pomegranate, some of those like darker tart fruits. It's not bad though. It's been a while since I think I did that Quinta Ruben 14 earlier this year. I might still have a little bit of that left. I might have to check it out. Lost Cause got the OBSF right on. Yeah. I like the B. The B is the high rye mash bill, if I'm not mistaken. So those ones I probably enjoy a bit more. Bullet single barrel picks are all Four Roses. Really? They source all their stuff from Four Roses? That I didn't actually know. I have never had a pick from Bullet, so can't say I know much about that one. Interesting though. Maybe I'll keep my eyes peeled for that. Feels longer on the bourbon. Oh, interesting. You're talking about the Glen Scotia? Or I'm sorry, the Glenmorangie. Right on. Yeah. Okay. 18 Oloroso. It's 10 years. Still in Maine. Sitting on the deck in the fucking nice, man. Enjoy that. I need to get a little vacation in too, y'all, man. I've been cooped up too long with this coronavirus stuff. I need to just go do a little bit of travel. Find somewhere to go. Good to hear you got to get out of the Jersey for a while, man. I'm sure you're enjoying it. It's got to be beautiful up in Maine. Yeah. So, Daniel, Four Roses, these barrel picks that they do, or these barrel selects that they do. There's 10 yeast. There's 10 batch variations. The O is always the same. I don't recall what it stands for. I think it just stands for like that it's Four Roses. The B, you'll either see a B or a V. The B means low rye mash bill, 20% rye. The V is high rye, I think 36%. The S just means single barrel, and then the F changes. So you'll get Q, O, F, K, or V. And so those are the 5 different yeast strains. So between switching the B and the V, the B to a V, and then the 5 yeast strains, you get 10 different mash bills total. And that's how they do like the different picks for their barrel proof line. So the F, I'm not even sure. It actually might say on here a little bit about what they say the yeast strain is. So for F, they say, OBS F, they say mint, fruity, spicy, full body. That's their description of the recipe. So there you go. Some deets on that. They're not that easy to find. Sometimes a bunch of stores will have them. You know, you'll find a store that does like a bunch of these, but there's usually not a ton of them. Spot on, he said, sticky sweet is great. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about the port stuff, man. I'm almost ready with this. We got 7 folks in the chat. Healthy start to our Tuesday. What's up, everybody? Hope everyone is well, staying healthy, all that stuff. Oh, this is good to know. Boss Cause is sharing some knowledge about the Bullet and their single barrel picks. I didn't know anything about this stuff. Good to know. Feels longer that you've been on the bourbon kick. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It does, man. Yeah. Like it's maybe since like late June, early July, I've just been feeling the bourbon. I think it's a summer thing. But now that is, I don't know, it's kind of run its course. So getting more back into wanting to drink scotch. So we'll be talking a bit more scotch this week and for the weeks coming up, including in a little while, I'm going to check out that Infinity bottle. Nick, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for swinging by. Happy Tuesday. Hope you got something in your glass because we're about to test out a little sample. So what I have here in the glass is Springbank, 21 years old. Real excited about this. This was sent to me by a good friend of the show, Whiskey Pilgrim, all the way from Sweden. Last week, arrived on my door on Tuesday, along with a couple other samples. This one, 46%. I have never had it. I've never had a Springbank this old and probably never will again because they're crazy pricey. So I really appreciate his generosity on this one. It's ex-bourbon, ex-oloroso. I think they only do a couple thousand bottle releases of this every year. I can tell you right away on the nose. You can tell it's a Springbank. Got a bit of that mustiness, that kind of damp, whatever you want to call it, that damp funk note that you get off Springbank. Oh, it's pretty mellow nose, actually, surprisingly so, but it kind of belies what I can tell is a pretty rich whiskey. There's some dark red fruit. Bourbon notes are strong. You're getting some kind of slight cinnamon spice. Little bit of vanilla, but it's more the spice notes on the bourbon than the, your kind of sweet caramel, vanilla, and all that. Oh, that fruit note is just fantastic, though. It's classic sherry, kind of juicy, dark red fruit, maybe even some brighter red fruit, apple. There's a little bit of an herbal note, too. Man, killer nose. All right, I got to give this a taste. So lunch, y'all. Wow. Wow. Really oily, slick arrival on the mouthfeel. You get some really good red fruit, but then it's spice, man. Barrel spice, cinnamon, pepper, kind of like chili pepper, dark chocolate, little bit of that peat. You know, Springbank's got a little peat in their stuff. It's actually coming through quite a bit, that kind of effervescent thing you get with peat. Pretty dry finish. Little tropical fruit, little cinnamon, little vanilla. Wow. Maybe medium on the finish. Okay. It's pretty good. It's not nearly as rich as, I'm trying to think of the other one that's got a healthy amount of sherry in it. 15, I think, is a bit richer. But this Springbank 21 is a solid pour for sure. Price-wise, though, these are crazy price. I mean, like, I think as I was mentioning, you're lucky to find this sub $500, I think. Let me just take a quick look just for the sake of it. That's why I was so interested in this sample, because I don't think I'll ever taste something like this quite again. Springbank 21, oh yeah, 350 or 399 to $450. Heavy price. Not bad though. I'm going to save this sip for just a second. Cleanse the palate. We'll put a little water on it. Why not? Any of y'all ever had a Springbank 21? Be curious to hear your thoughts if you have. We'll just do a drop or two, man. I don't want to drown this. Here we go. Oh, wow. I'll tell you though, if you're a Springbank fan, you know what I mean about that nose, that kind of dusty mustiness. Right behind it's all that fruit. Complex dram. Offhand, after first taste, you know, you can't always tell with the first taste, but you know, I still think the 15 was probably the most impressive of the ones I've had of their core range immediately on the first taste. Ooh, there's a little bit more of like a citrus herbal note coming through now. Toffee too. Getting a bit more of that bourbon action, those sweet bourbon notes with the addition of water. Here we go. Wow. Much more kind of vanilla, dark chocolate, all that kind of stuff with the addition of water. Sweeter. It's toning that pepper down a lot. You get that a lot, you know, when you add water, especially to like whiskeys you find spicy. I mean, kind of common knowledge for most of y'all, but it definitely toned down that the pepper a bit on this one. But still quite tasty. Seems like there's a lot to explore here. It's not blowing my mind, but it is quite good. I don't think I would throw down $500 for this necessarily. I think it would be one of those I'd probably want to have a couple more samples of, or hint, hint, Whiskey Pilgrim. Kidding. A couple more sips of this before I would consider buying it, but it's just great to be able to taste what an older Springbank tastes like. I've never had the 18 for the same reason. A Springbank 18, which I've also heard is kind of the black sheep of the range. Oh wow. Man, it's like $180, $190. I just wouldn't pull the trigger on that. And so I've avoided it. Stuck with like the 15, the 12 cask strength, you know, to some extent the 10, which has been a while since I've had the 10. Oh, this is nice. It's subtle. So much more subtle than you'd expect. It's leaving a nice, kind of longer finish with the water too. All in all, pretty good. Pretty good. I'm not going to complain. Thanks again, Whiskey Pilgrim, if you are tuning in. Appreciate the sample. He had sent a couple other ones too. Last week we did a Springbank 8 from, what was that from? Campbelltown Whiskey Festival, Glen Scotia 14 Tawny Port as well. So got to taste a bunch. Always fun to taste new stuff. So cheers to that. Speaking of tasting, what's everybody else sipping on tonight? Let me catch up with everyone, see what's going on. Daniel's still on the struggle bus a little bit. Palate's just off. Nothing tastes right. Still getting that soapy note on the Glenmorangie. That's a bummer, man. Put some Ardbeg or some Lafroig in your glass. And that should set your palate right. At least knock it out, right? Andrew Page, 15 is amazing. I'm hesitant on the 18 due to mixed reviews. Yeah, agreed. That's exactly how it was. I love the 15. In fact, I'm going to eventually do a review of that 15. I got a couple bottles of it, which is really nice. I got lucky with getting my hands on a few here in southern Jersey, actually. There were a couple bottles for sale, and I just scooped them up. Really glad I did. I'll be checking that out later this year. Peter White's in the house. What's up, Peter? Nice to see you, my friend. Hope all is well with you. What does everyone do if their palate isn't working quite right when having a couple pours? Yeah, that's a good one, man. Sometimes it's a lot of weird things can contribute to it. What you've eaten that day tends to be something that I notice. If I've eaten a lot of like savory, spicy food, it kind of throws me off a little bit. Maybe something just like something kind of neutral, just to cleanse your palate a little bit, maybe. Don Holland is in the house. What's up, Don? He's got a good recommendation for you. Black coffee. Yeah, that might do it. That's not a bad idea. I might consider that the next time that happens to me too. Coffee seems like it'd be a good one to do. What's the ABV? On the Springbank 21, it's 46. Non-chill natural, as you'd expect. Long row reds, local barley, hazelburn, long row single casks are the better values. Oh, you're talking in comparison to the older Springbanks? Yeah, I think you might be right about that. Whiskey Friend, Edredauer 12 cask strength single cask. Oh, you are lucky. I had a chance to buy a Edredauer 11 earlier this year, and I didn't, like a fool. The guy who runs our Philadelphia Whiskey Society had a bunch, and I didn't buy it because I'm a dummy. And then I got to taste it at a tasting, and I was like, oh man, what did I thinking? I can only imagine that's got to be a fantastic pour. Good to see you sipping this late, brother. Nice to see you, Alan. Ugadal is helping. Yeah, man. Let's help Daniel out here. He's got to get his palate straight. Don Holland recommended some black coffee. I hope maybe that'll work. If that don't, the Oogie should, right? I beat my palate into submission with barrel proof bourbon. The folks know, man. The community knows how to handle this. This is what you got to do. Teach you the lesson, lost causes. There you go, man. Just throw that in the microwave for a little bit. Zap it. Get it nice and hot. You'll be in good shape. All right, y'all. So next up, I'm going to check out the Infinity bottle. So a little bit of background on this. I used a bottle of Hibiki Japanese Harmony. This must have been like a month ago when y'all were kind of giving me some pointers on how to set up a nice Infinity bottle, kind of what to do, some ideas on what whiskeys to do in it and stuff. And I settled on doing kind of a peated smoky one. And so far in this, we have Ardbeg Wee Beastie, Lafroig Lore, Lafroig 15, Lagavulin 12 cask strength, Lecheg 10, Kilholman Lochgorm from 2019, Port Charlotte 10, Kalila 11-year-old cask strength, and Ardbeg Drum Committee release. I'm really excited to try this. But before I do, there's a peated bottle I have open, which I realize I've neglected to put into this. And so we're going to do it right now. And that is Kilkerran. This is the heavily peated Peat in Progress, 59.3%. This is batch 1, I believe. This is the first batch of this they released. It was a really good pour. I did a review on it a couple months ago. And so I'm going to put a little bit of this in here before we actually give this a try. We'll do, I don't know. I've been doing about an ounce or so of everything into it. So we'll pour like a good half dram or so. Pour it on in. And down it goes. There we go. And we're getting almost halfway filled with this already, which is super exciting. All right. I'm going to cork that for a sec, get things situated here, and I'm going to pour a glass of this. So regarding infinities, as I've mentioned, this is the first one I've ever done. Not sure what to expect other than a lot of peat and a lot of smoke. But given some of y'all in your experience, what has been your overall impressions of infinity bottles that you've created? Have they been worth it? I'm going to add this to the list right now. Peat in progress, batch 1 on the list. All right, we'll give this a little roly in the bottle. All right. Wow. The nose on this is, man, it's like wet clay, a lot of smoke. Jeez. All right. Smell it right away opening this bottle. We'll do a nice pour of it. See what happens. One peated whiskey I'm not putting in this is Mr. Cloudy. I feel like it might taint the whole batch. We're gonna hang off. We're gonna hang off on that one for now. All right. Let me catch up on the chat while I let this rest a little bit, and then we'll dive in. Don Holland saying, hey, good to see you, Don. Happy Tasty Tuesday. Thanks for swinging by. Oogie. Oh, Peter White's got a heel of that Edgerdour. Oh, man. That sounds delicious. I've been sipping it all week and can't put it down, Phil. Alan, you're living your best life right now, my friend. You are living your best life. Whew. Okay. There you go. Oh, when you did peat and non-peat together. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, that makes sense. You're kind of bringing out some of the flavors of that. It's almost like finishing a peated whiskey, especially if you use something probably that has a lot of strong Oloroso flavor or something like that. Man, this is dense. Dense and intense. Again, it's like wet clay, caramels in there, getting a lot of the Oloroso sherry, which is interesting considering not a lot of the whiskeys I put in this had a lot of sherry in them. It's almost like the Loch Gorm. It's like a lot. It smells like the Loch Gorm and the Bruichladdich Port Charlotte 10 the most. Definitely not noticing the, and this is fun trying to pick it apart. Those are the two I noticed the most. Port Charlotte 10, Loch Gorm. Maybe it's because those are the ones that have the most unique flavor. I'm not sure. Wow. Nick's got 2 going currently. I'm going to start a bourbon one. Oh, there you go. Keep it around half. Okay, cool. Good to know. Good to know. Oh, nice. Okay, this is good to know. Yeah. Thank you, gentlemen. Wow, this is smoky, man. That ashtray note. All right, let's give it a taste. Wow. Holy shit. That is spicy. Oh, man. That is really spicy. I don't even know where to begin with this. It's crazy complex and muddled. Everything's all over the place. The palate's super oily. A ton of like vanilla, light caramel. There's like, and it just explodes. That dark fruit note and a ton of pepper. Ton of pepper, a ton of peat. That smoke, the finish is like real sticky, long as hell. Ashtray, seaweed, cayenne pepper. Oh, man. Mint. That is intense. My face probably got red when I sipped that. I'm going to have to look at the playback on this one. Oh, man, that's intense. Okay. It's like somehow if you drank Ardbeg Corey Vrecken, but added like an extra 10% ABV to it or something. It's like a 70% ABV Corey Vrecken. Just salts your mouth. Damn. We got to try more. A lot of that vanilla and the bourbon notes. They're really assertive there, man. Caramel, little brown sugar, vanilla, that kind of like creme brulee thing. But it is just completely surrounded by a ton of peat, a ton of smoke. Man, that's intense. Well, this is fun. I'm not sure how much further I should go. I know that Nick mentioned kind of like keeps it around half. That makes sense. I mean, at some point in time, I don't know if I'm adding anything to it rather than subtracting, right? The more stuff you add to it. But this is definitely fun. I might have to look at a few others. I know that Peter mentioned that he was doing one. A couple other folks did. That could be a lot of fun. Maybe mixing and matching a little bit. And I could totally see how that would work, right? Maybe if you did like 2 parts sherry to 1 part peat or something, you know, trying to kind of make your own concoction and trying to keep the ratios a little bit in line. That could be a lot of fun. But I recommend this. I mean, if folks have a lot of bottles and you're just kind of slowly, you know, putting in an extra pour or 2 into the bottle for each one you have, give it a try. It's definitely a lot of fun, as I said. I'm not sure where this is going to go, but whew. Hey, man, this is why we do it. This is all about fun. So, 2 thumbs up on the Infinity bottle. Man, that is so oily. All right. I'll keep sipping that, but we are at the bottom of the hour. So let me give you guys just a quick recap of what's coming up tonight. So I'm going to spend a little more time with this Infinity bottle. We'll check out Mr. Cloudy, see what's going on with the Glen Scotia single cask, as we always do. And then right after 9 o'clock, we'll be heading on over to keep the show rolling with Whiskey Tuesday, Tasty Tuesday, Tuesday Booze Day, whatever you want to call it. But it's Malt and Telex. We're doing our show again this week. And this week, we are both going to be doing a tasting for everybody of the Balvenie single barrel, 12 years old. It is as I mentioned, it's a single barrel or single cask. All first fill bourbon, it looks like. Yep, 12 years. Pretty accessible whiskey. Something you can find most of the time on the shelf. It's in that kind of mid-range of Balvenie's releases. 12 years, but you are getting the single cask. It is at 47.8%, non-chill filtered. A ton, and I mean ton, of writing on this bottle. Look at all of this. Like, they explain everything you'd ever need to know about whiskey, it appears. So kudos to them on that. Cool presentation. Excited to share our notes with this on this one with y'all. Telex has not had the opportunity to actually try this yet. So it should be fun. So we'll be checking that out. So that's what's up. In the meantime, I'm going to catch up on the chat, see how everybody else is doing. Get at me. What's everybody sipping now? We've been at it for 34 minutes already. Anybody got something new in the glass? Some folks still chatting about, Infinity Barrel. Sherry Infinity bottle with some Ardbeg 10 is a side note at the moment. Okay. Andrew Page. Yeah, muddled. Yeah. I mean, with peated whiskeys too, I mean, especially younger ones, they're kind of just like 2 or 3 note ponies, you know, like you're not necessarily getting a ton of complexity anyways. But when you're mixing these other ones in that have a bit more complexity, like the 12-year Lagavulin cask strength, it is just getting dwarfed out by these, you know, big peat flavors, just blending it all in together. And it's really kind of hard to discern some of the more subtleties to it, which I guess isn't surprising with so much young peat. Well, I'll tell you this much though. A couple glasses of this would cause some serious, really set you straight, man. Whew. Infinity bottle I have to sit, take a while with them and really come together. Yeah, that makes sense. Because I think this has been what, month and a half. I'm not sure actually when I started. I think it was, I'll have to look back, a couple weeks ago. At least have to avoid over-oxidization. Gotcha. Cohen, greetings, Malt Muser. What is up? Happy Tuesday. Thanks for swinging by. It is happy hour. We do this every Tuesday. Me and the boys here and some of the ladies hang out, sip some whiskey, shoot the shit, get set up for the evening. We head over to Telex to chalk more whiskey. So welcome. Great to have you with us. What are you sipping on tonight, my friend? Yeah, maybe I should. Don't need to keep it all peat, right? That's not a bad idea. Small amount of peat can overwhelm an entire bottle. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Okay, good to know. Been a while since I picked up a Balvenie 12 single barrel. Very expensive in Ontario, like all Balvenies. Really? Okay. Interesting. That's kind of strange. Why it would be running that hot? Why price wise? That's intense. So you got a lot of brands. Are there like specific brands up there that just run at higher prices than you would expect, Peter? Balvenie clearly being one of them. I should know Balvenie wrote novels. Incredible. Yeah, they definitely do on their bottles, at least on this one. Book in a bottle. Yeah, just bought 2 Glen Scotia 14 Campbelltown Whiskey Fest editions and 2 Aaron the Bothy. Oh, nice, man. Good scores. I had a sample of that Glen Scotia Campbelltown Whiskey Fest last week from a sample. That was pretty tasty. Haven't had the Aaron yet. Gonna need some Infinity. Yeah. I mean, if that heavy peated stuff you were sipping didn't do it, maybe that's the way you got to go. DH, what's up, Dustin? Happy Tuesday, man. He's looking for some ladies. We got any women in the house tonight? Emily Chambers, Vanessa Kitty, anybody in here? Hit DHS up. He wants to holler. Hey, Richie Z, how you doing, man? Thanks for swinging by. We're just checking out this very youthful Infinity bottle that I have been working on for a little while now. Not bad stuff. But very muddled, very intense, super freaking oily. But it's fun. Alan's getting off. He's got to head to work. Cheers, man. Keep sipping that Edgerdour. Maybe save me a sample of it. I know you just did a review. I'll have to go check that out. Have a good night, brother. Donner Pass is in the house. What's up, man? How are you? Happy Tuesday. All right. So we're going to shift gears a little bit. My palate's a little jacked up, but I don't think it's going to matter much, especially considering what we're about to sample up again. So we're heading back to our favorite bottle, Mr. Cloudy. You may notice that this bottle is real low, and that is because I finally got 3 samples of these set up. So we're going to figure it out. I'm going to sit on these for a little bit. We'll figure out a way to like raffle these off to anybody that wants to get a sample of it. Maybe I'll do it for folks who've joined the Patreon or something like that. We'll figure it out in the next couple of weeks. But in the meantime, I'm going to continue working on this bottle until we're down to 1 dram. Here we go with this. Yeah, that good old chemically vitamin smell. I look forward to it every week. All right. Actually, you know what? For folks who haven't seen it, here's what it's looking like these days. It's still cloudy as all hell. Glen Scotia. This is a single cask shot bottling, hand-filled, 56.3%. Sherry, peat, all that good stuff. It's a fun one. to say the least, since we've been drinking on it for what, 3 months now, y'all? Man, oh man. I'm not going to be sad when it goes. But here's what it's looking like in the glass. Scotch missed anybody? Freaking Scotch fog. All right. Yeah, business as usual here. Not a big change over the last couple of weeks. Man, it's funky. It's the same thing. You smell underneath it that really nice, rich toffee sherry goodness. But boy, is it masked over by that. Again, chewable vitamin, shoe varnish kind of thing. Ooh-wee. Yeah. I think this is about going to stick around what it is. DH says it looks like that glass is left out. Man, you're not lying. This has been quite an odyssey, my friend. I haven't gone blind yet, though. Oh, man. I'm going to be really excited to get these samples into some of y'all's hands. You saw 2 weeks ago, Telex tried it, confirmed a lot of the things I've been saying, so at least I know I'm not crazy. But more than one opinion is always good. The palate, again, it's good. The palate's good. It's oily. It's got a lot of spice. It's got a hell of a body on it. It's like good sherry notes, bit of spice, but then it goes into that finish. Again, the chemical comes back. Emily Chambers, how you doing? You came just in time. It's check out we're taking a look at the Glen Scotia, Mr. Cloudy. Man. Yeah, so as I said, I got 3 samples of these ready. We'll figure out what to do with them. I definitely want to get these into some folks' hands. Y'all have been on this ride long enough, so some of you are going to have to taste it. Whew. Wow. Yeah. It just is what it is. I don't think we're getting anything more out of this. All right. Let me catch back up on the chat, see what's going on. Anybody get anything new lately? I've got 6 bottles of Cavalanche showing up tomorrow. Very nice. 6. Whew. All right. New. I just got the Lagavulin 12-year-old 2019, like about a week and a half ago. I do have a couple. I have the new Carchis and the new Lefroy 10 cask strength should be showing up relatively soon. What else new have I got? I think that's about it. Oh, well, relatively new. The Wild Turkey Rare Breed Rye. Yeah, that's about it for new. I've been keeping it on manner mode a little bit lately, trying to get through some of the stuff I have. Which Cavalans are you getting? Be curious to hear about that, buddy. Nick says I like samples. Right on, man. Stay tuned. We'll figure it out. Maybe what I'll do is, as you guys said last week, I had a couple folks join the Patreon, which is super cool. Maybe what I'll do is I'll figure out a way to raffle off 3 of them to the folks that join that at the end of the month or something. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But in the meantime, we're going to continue sipping this every week until it's down. We'll see if anything actually comes up at the end of the bottle, or maybe I'll let it sit for like a month and come back to it. I don't know. At this point in time, after all we've been through with this bottle, y'all, might as well just throw it to the wind and see what happens. Yeah, I am getting down to the black gunk. Check it out. You can see it. There it is. We're getting real close. You got maybe like a 10th of the bottle left, man. I'll scrape it out and throw it in the glass. See what happens, man. Definitely interested in the Bizarre Glen Scotia. Had some of their special releases in single cask. Yeah, man. Yeah, we'll figure it out. As they told me, they definitely said that there was probably something wrong with it. Although they were a bit defensive. They they seemed to think that the cloudiness might have been somewhat normal, but the flavor wasn't. At least it's what they said on the interview I did with them. I think that this bottle was probably not treated well by the company that I bought it from. I did not buy it directly from Glen Scotia, which is probably the reason it looks like this. But if anybody or if anybody in whiskey world has ever got a hand-filled distillery-only bottle of Glen Scotia and could compare this, I'd love to know and get a second opinion. But I've so far not really seen much about this. I know Stephen Connor, who tunes in, saw somebody mention this bottle or review of this and mention some of the cloudiness, but that is, who knows? It's just here's one person hearsay on the internet, so it's really hard to know. But we'll figure it out. I'm sipping what I just got a couple days ago, and it's some bottling of Highland Park 12 in the whatever you call True Era. It's great. 747 each. Oh wow! I'd love to hear a little bit more about that. What year do you think that was? I mean, that must have been quite a while ago. Definitely not Viking Honor. Ben, the Demon Hunter's in the house. Happy Tuesday, buddy. How are you, man? Swinging in after work. You still on vacation, man? Your Instagram has been looking amazing. Where have you been traveling, man? You've been all over Canada. Ooh, Peter White's got some nice picks. Good. Yeah. Daniel, you should share the story of how you got that Glendronach 18. Got a pretty good deal on it. Folks saying hi to Emily, Richie Z. Yeah. We're calling it gunk. I've never quite seen that much sediment at the bottle of a whiskey bottle anytime. Whatever it is, man, it's got to be pretty wild. Oh, got you. You're talking about the Cavalan that you're getting? Righteous. Yeah, he's got an amazing collection, man. I didn't think it was amazing. I thought it was solid, but it didn't blow my mind. I kind of felt like, again, and I notice this a lot in these, like, I think obviously the rye ratio on that was pretty low. It seemed like, because I think, yeah, like you said, it's just a lot of bourbon going on in it. I think the rare breed bourbon is still a better pickup in my opinion. But I didn't mind it. Yeah, I mean that's what I was hoping for. I thought this was going to be a great, cool bottle to share with everybody, but then it turned into its own adventure. I guess I can't complain about that. $169. Yeah, that's not bad. I've only had a sample of the Signet. I've never had a bottle of my own. That's something I'd really love to get my hands on. I really enjoyed it. What's up, Trooper? How are you? Happy Tuesday, buddy. Thanks for swinging by. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I'm totally hear you. I'm here with you on that. What? Really? Man, some of y'all are getting some stuff at good prices. $29 a bottle for the Lagavulin 9 GOT. I thought that was pretty solid. I did a tasting of those like right when all that stuff came out. I've actually never bought any of the bottles, but I know Telex has been reviewing like every single one of the Game of Thrones releases. I just did I went to some bar. They had like a menu of basically almost all of them, with exception of the Oban and the Mortlock and one other one. I don't remember which one it was. And basically for like $20 you could sample for. I did the Lagavulin, the Talisker, the Balvenie, and I think the Kleinlich. The Lagavulin, I think, and the Kleinlich were both solid. None of them were mind-blowing, but they were solid. But that's a killer price. I mean, yeah, that's a no-brainer. I would buy that at that price. For sure. Yeah. I saw that, man. It sounds like a great time. I was supposed to be going up in that neck of the woods earlier this year before this freaking virus stuff hit. So, you know, totally agree with that. I've only had the single barrel rye, which I think is fantastic. I agree, it's a lot better. It is. And by the way, yeah. So I've got 3 samples of it bottled up here. Some folks are going to get to try to not go blind with this. Oh yeah, this is a great. Yeah, you got a bottle of the Glendronach 18 Allardyce and $25 or something like that for a bottle of Blanton's regular single barrel. Score. And that's the 2000, was it the 16? So it's like the 21 years old, or it's like supposed to be at least 21 years old. That's awesome. Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely, right? Good deal. Do you find those out in the wild? You don't see those older Highland Park 12s out anymore. I'm a big fan of the Highland Park 12. It's one of my favorite, just like cheaper go-to whiskeys. Kind of checks all the buttons when you're not sure what you want. Good way to start out. Wants to try the Oban, Talisker, and Balvenie. Yeah, I mean the Talisker, the Balvenie was okay too. But I mean, if you want to try those, I would still recommend going with like get a Talisker 10 if you've not had it, or even the Talisker Storm maybe. And the Balvenie, I mean, Balvenie's just got that 15-year-old. Obviously, we're trying at least once. It's a honey bear for sure. I don't know about the Oban. That's the dark, the black bottle or whatever. Yeah, maybe give it a try. Report back on that. It hasn't been a high on my hunting list, but cool. They were going to trade you the Altmore 18 for that other bottle of Blanton's you had. It's not a bad strategy. Sell bourbon that's like going for way higher prices because of the hype. Build your Scotch collection. There you go. Not a bad way to do it. Russell's Rare Breed Rye is still better than Lafroig Select. Well, that I probably agree with. Everything seems to be better than Lafroig Select. Oh, here it is. So Glendronach 18, which means 21 years old. But it was first fill barrels from what I understand. So Blanton's for the Glendronach. Plus he gave me oh, you had to give him another $25. Okay. I mean, still probably worth it, right? There's no reason. I mean, you said that store was selling those Blanton's for $169. I mean, God, man. Wow. Just for the regular Blanton's. And you could literally, if you were in a place where you can find a lot of those just like highly coveted bourbons, Blanton's, the Weller stuff, and you could trade those to people who are big bourbon fans, and if they got scotches they'd give you, man, you could probably get a decent selection of scotch for that stuff, man. Totally. Yeah. That's true. I did a review of the 12 Viking Honor and the previous 12 that I bought around the same range. I can't vouch for how old they were exactly. I didn't notice a ton of difference. I think that the older label one did taste a little better. It was a little more rounded, a little bit more complexity, longer finish. But again, I can't say, it wasn't so definitive that I would be like, oh yeah, this is clearly the release, as opposed to maybe just some minor batch variation. I don't know. But a lot of folks swear by it. And you know, if your experience is that, I mean, I'm not going to sneeze at it. Folks are having like, I want to say there was a bunch of people, especially on like Reddit. It was the same thing with the 18. A lot of folks said that the new 18 Viking Pride or whatever was way better than, or I'm sorry, the old 18 is way better than the Viking Pride. Who knows? Yeah. And I'll tell you, when you get to like the 8th or 9th sip of this cloudy ass Glen Scotia, it actually gets pretty good. It's mostly because you get used to that horrible kind of, again, I don't know what the hell this is, kind of chemically chewed vitamin shoe polish note. It's rough. Rough business. All right. Another week of that done. It's like punishment. All right, y'all. Okay. So just hitting the top of the hour. Let me give you guys a quick update on what's coming. So shortly, we'll head over to continue the whiskey talk over at Telex, the Whiskey Text channel. We're going to be doing a tasting of the Balvenie. This is a single barrel, first fill X bourbon, 12 years old, non-chill filtered, 47.8%. Pretty accessible, something you can probably find on the shelf in a decent whiskey shop. I actually kind of quite liked this one when I tasted it way back in the day and did a review. Excited to have a sip of this tonight with Telex. He has never had this one. So looking forward to having a chat with y'all about this. And he's got a review coming up tonight as well. So whiskey chat will be going well. Shortly after 9, I'll post the link as always in the chat. And we'll keep things going. So that should be fun. In the meantime, I'm going to head back to this Four Roses bourbon and kind of get my palate adjusted after drinking all that intense-ass peat. Whew. Man, that infinity bottle is still hanging around. All right, let's see what else is going on, y'all. Yeah, I kind of felt the same way. I have never had the older Highland Park 18. I've just had the Viking Pride one. It was good, but it didn't blow my mind. Yeah, I mean that's a crazy deal all day. All day. You got the better end of that for sure, man. That's what happens with some of these bourbons. Man, folks will go crazy for that stuff. I don't. Maybe some folks in the chat might know about this. Couldn't tell you, man. yeah, man. I added some to the infinity bottle before I tasted it, but man, it's gonna knock my palate right out. I'm gonna see if I can bring it back with some of this this bourbon. I still feel like it's in good shape. I'm getting still getting a lot of flavor complexity. I definitely got it off the Glen Scotia. So I usually find you drink too much peat, too much smoky whiskey, you know. More of an end of the night thing because it just knocks you out. You can't taste shit. Don Holland, hey Peter White, love the Devil's Cask 1, Sherry Bomb from Bowmore. 12 single barrel was an odd one for me, said DH. I wonder if, swing on over to Telex after this. I'll be interested if the notes we pick up are probably some of the things you did. I'll tell you right now, one thing I remember, there was a hell of a bitterness on it. A bitterness that I kind of liked, but an unexpected bitterness. Be curious if you recall that coming up for you. Emily, take good care. We'll catch you next week. Hope you're well. Yeah. Well, this is sort of a special release for Roses. So this is a single barrel cask strength. As I was saying at the beginning of the show, a lot of liquor stores will do private picks of these. There's 10 different recipes total, 2 different mash bills, and 5 different yeast strains they do for each of these. This is an OESK 9 years, 7 months, 57.1% ABV. So it's a barrel strength. Really tasty. A lot of like cinnamon candy red hots on it. Here in the States, Four Roses, there's a lot of distilleries that kind of do these store picks where basically the liquor stores will bottle up barrels that they've selected, sell it to you. With Four Roses, it's the same thing, except they do these barrel strength ones where it's you can kind of pick the different recipe you want. They got 10 different Four Roses recipes. Collect all 10, right? They're not always that easy to find. It really depends on where you are. And, you know, you can kind of taste whatever you want. So this one in particular is the low rye mash bill. So it's like 20% rye. The regular single barrel is high rye. It's like 36%. And then this has what's called like the spicy yeast or something. So it's the high corn mash bill with the spicy yeast strain. I like it quite a bit. It reminds me a bit of Wild Turkey. It's got that kind of confectionery, marshmallow, cotton candy thing going on, but also like some cinnamon red hots, which is really nice. And good body. I like a lot of the Four Roses stuff. What else? What's up? Jack the Pickletown. Which Kilkerran 8 do you have? So this is not an 8, unfortunately. This is it's a non-age statement. This is the Kilkerran Peat in progress. It's batch 1. I think they have a second batch out, 59.3%. So this is an NAS, but this is part of that like in progress series. There's a Peat in progress. They also have I want to say it's like a sherry in progress. Just some of their younger stuff that they've been building up. And releasing periodically. This one was really good. I mean, I really enjoyed it. It's definitely a youthful whiskey, but it has a decent amount of complexity and pretty strong flavor in all the right places. And so I added it to the Infinity bottle tonight. And yeah, I'm going to be a little bit sad to see this one go. I'd like to try batch 2. I'd be curious if anybody's had batch 2, which I know just came out relatively recently. Mark Stengel's in the house. What's up? Greetings from Las Vegas. He's coming in saying he's doing the Four Roses small batch. Yeah. That's a good one. No complaints about the Four Roses small batch. Anyone else get a touch of buffering? Oh, really? Maybe on my end. I wonder if my connection's a little off. If anybody else is getting that, let me know. Andrew Page, has anybody tried Balvenie Week of Peat, which used to be Peat Week? Yeah. I had one maybe 2 years ago. I don't remember what year it was. Solid. I know that they do one of those every year. I have a bottle from last year that I got as a gift. I've just not got a chance to open it yet. I'll be checking that out. Yeah. I haven't had a chance to. I mean, I've had a decent amount of the Highland Parks. It's just that Highland Park is one of those distilleries I just can't follow it. And they put out so many damn whiskeys. It's pretty hard to try every one of them. I know there are some folks that just like swear by it and will keep their hands on every Highland Park, but man, I swear they're putting out like 5-6 whiskeys a year. It's just so much of it. DH said, yeah, it's very good. 2003 Week of Peat, however, is still the best of that series by far. Okay. Good to know. Hey, have you tried the newer high ABV Four Roses small batch select? No, I haven't. But I'm starting to see it actually. So they've released this Four Roses small batch select, which is like 6 of the 10 recipes blended together. As I was talking about, there's like these 5 yeast strains they use in the 2 mash bills. So they use 6 of the total recipes and blend it together for this select release. It's like what, $55-$60. I actually haven't pulled the trigger on it yet, but I did see it on the shelf a couple weeks ago. Might be one worth picking up. Yeah, I'll put that one on the list. I actually haven't done a review of a Four Roses, and I quite like their stuff. I think their single barrel, the regular single barrel that they release is really solid, nice and spicy, and comes in about that $40 range. Their small batch is really good. You know, everything else outside that gets pretty expensive, but this select seems like a pretty good pick. I'd love to know if anybody's had that before. You recommend it. Right on. Yeah, I think my favorite batch of these what do you call them? Basically the barrel strength single barrel releases is the OBSQ, which is like high rye and then like a floral yeast or something. I really, really like that one. I was so lucky to be able to find a bottle of it at a shop for it's 11 and a half years old, which is like one of the older ones of these I've ever seen. So definitely want to check that out. I haven't seen it either. Oh yeah, I'm going to check it out for sure. I don't know. I mean, it's not going to be ECBP. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what to expect. I mean, it's another one of these double barreled whiskeys, right? So they like put it in for some amount of time into another new charred oak barrel. You know, I've had a couple different whiskeys that are like that. I think that Woodford Reserve Double Oak or whatever is pretty solid. I'm not sure what to expect from it. I sure haven't seen it anywhere around PA. They don't have it in the shops here, and they don't have. I haven't seen it in any of the shops over on the other side of the river from Philly in southern Jersey. So, would love to try it though. I do love me some Elijah Craig stuff in general. So I want to check that out. Really want to try the Balvenie 15 single barrel. Yeah, I do too. That's the sherry one. Yeah, man. I'd love to get my hands on that. That one's like, what, in that 150, 160 range? Maybe not even that high. Balvenie is another one of those distilleries where I've just not had a lot of stuff from them. I've had the double wood. I've had that Caribbean cask rum finished one, which was okay. I've had the Peat Week. There's a couple other ones. I'm trying to think offhand what they were. Oh, the 17 double wood, which I thought was a bit on the overpriced side. But I could spend $160 or $150 on something else than that, but it was good. That's one though that I've had my eye on, and that's the single cask sherry one, which I bet you is really good. I've actually seen that in a couple places recently. Yeah, Trooper. I'm gonna want to check that out too. Yeah, not sure yet. DH Sub, not a big Four Roses guy, but sample small batch select was actually pretty solid. Yeah. Oh, wow. It's coming in at 50. Okay, that might be a little much. 50 seems a bit high. Well, I don't know. It seems a little bit high. Gary K is in the house. Gary, nice to see you, buddy. Thanks for swinging by. Welcome to the party. We're getting frisky here on a Tuesday with our whiskey, of course. A couple more minutes, we'll head on over to hang out with Telex. I do want to just take a sec to thank the folks that, first that encouraged me to set up the Patreon, and also for the folks that joined last week. Man, I appreciate all your support. We're going to figure out some ways to do some really fun stuff. If anybody else is interested, I'll drop the link in the chat. Feel free to join. Appreciate all the support you guys can give. And I think as far as these Glen Scotia samples go, I'm not sure quite yet, but I might do something where I'll raffle these off somehow to the folks that are joining the Patreon, maybe at the end of the month or something like that. So that way we can all maybe do a tasting together one of these nights here on the Tuesday happy hour, man. That would be a lot of fun. I feel like I've been talking about this bottle so much with you guys that giving you all the opportunity, as many of you can, to try this as well and tell me like, man, this is the weirdest whiskey I've ever had, or tell me in Telex that we're totally nuts about it. It'll be fun. Anyways, yeah. So mixed reviews, mixed thoughts on this toasted oak. Yeah, I like the double wood, the double oak too from Woodford Reserve, but $50, I don't know. The Elijah Craig is what, between like 7 and 10 years or something like that. Oh yeah, you can't go wrong with that one. How's that been treating you, man? I know you picked that up a couple weeks ago. Doing you well? I love that bottle. I like that whole series, but that bottle in particular was really good. I actually just got a new one the other day. So that's one that I neglected to mention earlier. I'm going to try and do the whole Whiskey Row series. That was the only one I was missing. We'll look for that soon. We'll check it out. Where else we at? Yeah. Yep. That makes sense. Don Holland. Wow, 125th. I might have missed what that was. Yeah, some folks got the love for the small batch select. Okay. Yeah, you're convincing me, man. I'm gonna throw this on my on my list for sure. DH says not cheap finished bottle in the second mill. Yeah, totally. I hear you on that. I'm just not sure like you get what you pay for. I mean, you might in terms of like what it costs for production, but like, is it really doing enough for that whiskey? I'm not sure. Especially where it's like, in some cases, you could spend $10, $15 more which really isn't that much when you think about it and get ECBP. It's like, if it's a choice, it's no choice at all. I'm also not sure how widely available that toasted oak is going to be. If it shows up, I'm going to grab it, but I'm a little hesitant, especially given how much money I want to spend on it. But we'll see. You're good, man. Santa Cruzan's in the house. What's up, buddy? Happy Tuesday, man. Thanks for swinging by. We're getting close to wrapping up. Telex should be finishing up his he's doing the I think another flora and fauna release tonight, if I'm not mistaken, on his short review. And then we will head on over. And yeah, looks like the link is ready. All right, y'all. Link is in the chat. Thanks again for everybody that swung by tonight. It's been super fun hanging out as usual. Really do enjoy Tuesday happy hours with everybody. And with that, check out the chat. The YouTube link over to Telex's show is up. I'll catch you guys over there relatively soon. And this Friday, I got a review coming out. Will be of the Altmore 12 years old. Check that out. Let me know what you think about it if you've had it before. I quite enjoyed it. And with that, cheers, y'all. I'll see you over on Telex's show, and we'll catch you next week.